From the high desert and the great American Southwest, exclusively on Sirius XM Radio, this is Dark Matter with your host, Art Bell. Now, here's Art.
Hi, Dark Riders. See, I didn't interrupt him this time. How you doing? Welcome to Extraterrestrial Radio. I am Art Bell, and it is my pleasure to be here. We've got a few things to take care of, and then we're going to have dreams tonight. We're going to be talking about dreams. Not just any dreams, but night terrors. Night terrors. Things that may come to you in your dream that you don't want to come to you. So, this is going to be a very, very interesting program. I have never had night terrors. So this is actually one time that I'm going to be able to talk about something that I have not personally experienced. It should be very interesting. A couple of quick notes for you. One is, after tomorrow night's show, I'm going to have an announcement of some significance for the end of the program. And in poker parlance, I will simply say we are all in. And we'll see how that comes out. A mystery wrapped in an enigma. I like that. A mystery wrapped in an enigma. It's hard to say 3 times quickly, even once apparently. We are having our ghost picture judging. Therefore, you should go to artbell.com and judge. Look at the photographs, declare what you think to be the winner, and we are going to be giving away tomorrow night a Sirius XM radio and a 1-year subscription to Sirius XM. That's pretty hot stuff. So if you have submitted a ghost picture, then cross your fingers, knock on pressed wood or whatever you can find, and we'll, maybe you'll be the winner tomorrow night. Ghost stories, last chance. I will look for ghost stories sent to me, artbell@artbell.com. If you're going to do that, just give me a short summary and a phone number, and maybe on Spooky Matter tomorrow night, we will call you. All right, looking briefly at the news, never all that pleasant. Another mistress of a former Utah doctor accused of killing his wife testified Wednesday that he had once described how he could induce a heart attack in someone and said it would appear to be natural. A New York bus driver saved a woman from jumping off a bridge. Good. Hailed as a hero for preventing a woman from jumping off a Buffalo Highway bridge. 6 people shot dead in South Carolina in a domestic dispute. Seems like we used to be able to settle them more easily, or at the worst, police come. But now, a South Carolina man in custody. A one-time girlfriend apparently broke into her parents' home, fatally shot the woman. He did. Her parents, 2 children. According to the sheriff, then the man dispatched himself, saving the state problem. Well, here's one for the books. Dark matter comes up empty so far. Nearly a mile underground in an abandoned gold mine, one of the most important quests in physics has thus far come up empty in search for the elusive substance known as dark matter. I have a comment I could make here, but I will refrain. The Japanese Prime Minister, his government, this really is interesting. Somebody sent me a note about this yesterday as we were discussing Fukushima. The Japanese government is planning a State Secrets Act. This is very interesting. Critics say it could curtail public access to information on a whole wide range of issues, including tensions with China and, of course, Fukushima. So, as time goes on, if this passes, it'll all be covered by the Official Secrets Act in Japan. The new law would dramatically expand the definition of official secrets. In other words, anything they don't want known. And journalists convicted under it could be jailed for up to 5 years. Ooh. So in other words, if number 4 over there begins to go, and some journalist wants to report it, he's going to go to jail for 5 years for doing so. Now, you might keep that in mind. That's incredible. Simply incredible. I thought we helped the Japanese with our constitution. Well, their constitution, modeled after ours. But then again, we haven't treated ours so well either, have we? Defending President Obama's much-aligned healthcare overhaul in Congress, his top health official was confronted Wednesday with, oh, this is so sad, with a government memo raising new security concerns about the trouble-prone, boy, that's kind, website that consumers are trying to use to enroll. The document obtained by the AP shows that administration officials at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services were concerned that a lack of testing posed a potentially high security risk. For healthcare.gov websites serving 36 states, it was granted only a temporary security certificate so it could even operate. You know, I should laugh. If you're feeling a little wired, exhausted, emotional, on edge, it may be our sun. Our sun has released 3, now 4 actually, X-class solar flares since Friday. October, fittingly, has been one of the most active solar months in years with, get this, 22 M-class flares thus far. For those wondering what's the difference between classes, flares, sun flares, are graded sort of backwards. The least powerful is an A, then comes B, then comes C, then comes M, or the most powerful X class. Each class 10 times more powerful than the previous class. So when you get an X class flare, the sun is indeed raging in the night. Actually, there is something above an X. It's called a mega flare, but that may not be official. And then there's this. I'm hearing a lot about it, so I thought I would pass it on to you. Nationwide electric power failure is realistically dramatized in a coming National Geographic television docudrama. But it is also being televised, which the whole country, and it will be synchronized to immediately precede a U.S. government national power blackout drill. Now, I have no idea what we're going to do. Are they going to turn off power for everybody? Anyway, this planned coincidence shows that the National Geographic television is emotionally amplifying an apocalyptic government prophecy by Janet Napolitano, Director of Homeland Security, who said that, and this is an apparent quote, a massive cyber attack and a natural disaster, the likes of which never have been seen before, are coming, end quote. That's from ABC News. Let me read that again. A massive cyber attack and a natural disaster, the likes of which have never been seen before, are coming. Yes, here it's a quote from ABC News. Something indeed to think about, wouldn't you say? So I wonder if they're going to turn off the power, or if you're all supposed to volunteer and run out and throw the master switch and cut your own power off and suffer for a while. In other words, be a volunteer. If you're listening to this show right now on a computer, sitting on a desk somewhere, and you are chained to it, I have an answer for you. You don't have to be. There is the CC Radio FM transmitter 2. And here's the way it works. You order one, and what? You're out only $49.95. It arrives. It's small enough to hold in your hand. It is an actual FM broadcast transmitter. So, you plug your computer into this little guy, and it then broadcasts to all the FM radios in your house. Now, you of course have to be careful not to add any wire onto the antenna to make the range longer, or look on the internet for such things, because it comes all set to go. It has an adjustable input level, so you can adjust just right volume. But I mean, it's so cool. Then you can go anywhere in the house. You can listen to the show. All this for $49.95, and it works with anything you plug into it with audio. I mean, well, for example, you could plug your iPhone into it or its equivalent, play all your music through the FM radio. Pretty cool, huh? Or you could run your own show. The number to call to order one now for just $49.95 is 800-522-8863. That's 800-522-8863. All right, coming up in a moment, featured on A&E, VH1, the Reverend Dr. Nicole and the Reverend Dr. Michael Sebastian, M.A., ABD, a.k.a. The Dream Team, are co-founders of The Dream Team, Celebrity Life Coaching, creators of the Trust Yourself system and the Trust Yourself Therapy. As authors of 4 books, folks, celebrity life coaches, dream experts, addictions therapists, and behavioral sociologists, they deliver wise counsel using traditional methods coupled with unique tools of dream, sound, synchronicity, intuition, and quantum physics for guidance and direction. So coming up in just a few moments, we're going to talk with the Dream Team about, well, dreams, folks. Coming right up. I'm Art Bell. I'd like to welcome Nicole and Michael to the program. They are known as the Dream Team. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Art, how you doing? Thanks for having us.
Good to hear you both. Where are you? As a matter of curiosity.
At present, we're in Detroit, Motor City.
Detroit. Wow. Okay. I bet it's cold up there.
A little bit, like 35.
It's going to be an early winter, it feels like.
Yes, a cool winter. All right. Before we get started in what's going to be scary, I want to ask a question. I've never, first of all, I've never had a nightmare. Don't want one. Thank you. I've always worried about a number of things that I will ask you about in the course of the show. The only dream that I have had that I really hate, and I'm thinking maybe you can tell me, can you tell me how not to have a dream that I don't like?
Yes.
Oh, how cool is that? All right, well, here it comes. The dream that I don't like, in other words, when I go to sleep at night, I want to experience a little slice of death, you know? I want to go to sleep and then wake up the next morning and look out and see that it's light and another day has arrived, and lo and behold, I'm here. That's how I want to sleep. However, every now and then I'll go to sleep and I'll have a dream in which I am trying desperately to achieve some goal, whatever it is, whether it's related probably to radio, because you know I'm in radio, and I'm working. Oh my God, I'm working all the way through this dream, and by the time the dream is over and I wake up, I am dead tired because I've been striving, I've been trying to get whatever it is accomplished, and I'm pooped because I worked all night long. How do I stop it?
Art, here, we'll start here. We'll back up a little bit, and then
Okay.
techniques for changing that dream. And the reason that you're so tired when you wake up in the morning is that you have actually been working all night long in your dream, because when we sleep, we dream, and when we dream, we actually leave the body in energy form. We're all energy. We know that. And we go to another dimension. And what we experience there is what we call the dream when we wake up, but it's actually a travel log of what went on in a different state of consciousness. So consequently, you, because you're in radio, because that is your career and your job, you work all night long in that other area to download what's coming into your consciousness in the daytime. So you do double duty, actually.
Okay, you're exactly right. But now the important part. How do I stop it?
Aha. Well, I would suggest, Art, that you merely hew, which is a phenomenal technique we'll share with your listeners. You hew.
I'm sorry, the technique name again?
hew, H-U.
That I hew.
Yep, I'd recommend that you hew before you go to bed.
Okay.
And by doing that, you'll provide clarity.
I try to hew before I go to bed. If not, I have to get up in the middle of the night and hew maybe once or twice.
There you go.
Come on, explain what hew is.
All right, hew is a toning technique, and it's based on physics and vibration and resonance. And let me give you a demo. Simply put, you inhale, and on the exhale, you hew.
I can't hit that tone.
Let me tell you, your own pitch is perfect, Art. So however it comes out, that's just meant for you. And hew is actually an ancient, sacred, universal name for God. And it's where the word human comes from. The word human actually means God-man, God within man. And in our research of the word, we found the word hew in 13 different world religions and their sacred book, from Christianity all the way to Zoroastrianism.
Well, don't think I won't try it, because I will, and it better work. I'm coming after you.
I promise. It stops nightmares instantaneously. It stops anxiety and insomnia. We call it one magic word.
Okay, this is none of those terrible things. This is just work.
Feverishly.
Yes, absolutely. Right. There's enough of that during the day. At night, I want my little slice of death.
You want to tune out, right?
Well, I had to bring that. I had to know. I'm going to try it. I'm absolutely going to try it. All right, now, down to biz. Some of this is going to be really scary stuff. And look, I know that what we're going to talk about affects a lot of people. Thank God not me, but a lot of people. So, what is a night terror specifically? And where do they come from?
Night terror could probably best be described as a nightmare on steroids. And it involves, actually, physiologically, you have an increased heart rate, increased adrenaline flow, and you're experiencing inwardly some extremely negative impressions and visualizations and things that we call a night terror. And you wake up in a cold sweat. Most people, when they experience a night terror, are afraid to go back to sleep. They're common in certain populations, veterans or veterans with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. They'll have a flashback of being shot, being in combat, all the fear and anxiety that goes along with that. Children also, believe it or not, children under 5 and under the age of 5, experience night terrors quite a bit.
All right, do you differentiate between a night terror and a, just a bad dream, or a scary dream, or are they all one and the same? A nightmare. In other words, any difference between a night terror and a nightmare?
Yeah, I'd put them on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's quantify it. And we all have nightmares. Who hasn't had a nightmare? And it could be as simple as, having a blow up with your boss, and you wake up thinking, "Oh my God, I'm glad that was a dream." But a night terror is something that we're actually almost afraid to go back to sleep because it was so traumatic. So a nightmare might be a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. A night terror is a 10 on a scale of 10. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any idea what causes night terror? Something so dramatically, maybe it's like sun flares 10 times worse as you go up the scale. So that would make a night terror really awful, horrible. Mm-hmm. Any idea what causes them?
Actually, whatever is in our state of consciousness is what we experience inwardly and outwardly. So we are actually the creator of the night terror, unfortunately. But at the same time, because we are the creator of our world, we can correct that just like we can correct anything else. So we are fully responsible due to our consciousness level. But at the same time, if we interpret and decode the message contained within the night terror, then it stops as long as we take appropriate action. Because whenever we have a dream, a nightmare, or a night terror, there is a message for us personally about taking some sort of action in our daily life.
Really?
Yeah. And once we do, boom, it goes away.
And night terrors are usually, Art, they're related to an event of some sort. For example, veterans with PTSD that have been in some dark place in combat, and they bring that back in their consciousness. In many cases, it's people who have been traumatized one way or another, and they go to an extremely dark place. And where they actually go is an interesting speculation also, but we have found that it involves, believe it or not, travel in other dimensions, and we get off into a dark area. So what we get from the night terror when we wake up is really a travel log of where we've been, someplace extremely dark and threatening.
All right, well, a moment ago, it was said that night terrors come from within ourselves, correct?
Correct.
And yet, I know that as we continue the interview, you're going to be talking about intrusions by others into dreams. We're going to even be talking about the possibility of death during a dream. We're going to be talking about entities. So, if we're going to be talking about those things, how can you be sure that night terrors always come from within?
Well, because even if something, let's say there's an intrusion, a psychic intrusion, dream intrusion
Yes.
type of thing,
Yes.
we're still fully responsible because we allowed it to occur by remaining open and allowing something to enter our state of consciousness.
Wow.
So it goes back to we are fully responsible once again. But there's some techniques. There's techniques that can prevent this, that can protect us, and so we don't have to experience such negativity. And we'll get into all.
Yes, okay, let's talk a little about children under 5. My daughter is now 6, and she's had some pretty bad dreams, but not what I would describe as night terrors. Is it particularly common for children under 5 to have these?
Absolutely. And there's a valid reason why. And, children under the age of 5 remember and recall their past lives. And often, when a child under the age of 5 is having a nightmare or a night terror, the child is recalling an actual past life experience.
Wow.
And up until